Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Cruzy here, and in this movie review, I'm gonna be doing a horror movie review on this horror movie which came out earlier this year on April 5th this year of 2024. And I actually watched it on Hulu like back in like the summer, and I'm gonna be reviewing The First Omen. Yep. The First Omen is the prequel to the old movie The Omen, of course, like the original Omen. Which before I get into this review, I just want to let you all know that I actually watched the original Omen first before this prequel, The First Omen, and I gotta say the original Omen from like 1976, if I'm correct. Yeah, from the 70s. I gotta say the original Omen, I like the Omen. I think is a very interesting film in terms of old fashioned horror films that came out in the 70s. The original Omen I think is great. Yeah, I liked it. And of course I didn't really bother with the sequels or the 2006 remake because hardly anyone remembers those. So I didn't really bother with them. But then when I heard about the people, most people talking about The First Omen, some horror fans talking about The First Omen, it did look pretty. It did interest me like after this movie came out on April 5th. So when this movie came to Hulu, I actually watched it, and here we go. So in this movie, The First Omen is the prequel to the classic Omen films, like mostly the original Omen. Yeah. In this psychological horror prequel to the classic Omen films, a young American woman is sent to Rome and to begin a life of service to the church. Soon, she encounters a darkness that causes her to question her faith, and that reveals a terrifying conspiracy to bring about the birth of evil incarnate. And yeah, so yeah. When I first heard about this movie, it did look kind of interesting at first, but right when this movie came out back in April, I couldn't really see it in theaters or Monkey Man, which I thought Monkey Man was also great too. But this review is on The First Omen for Halloween month this month, so yeah. Because the reason I didn't see this or Monkey Man when they both first came out on April 5th is because some of you guys already know that I was meeting Bluey. Of course, I was doing like a little Sunday brunch meet and greet with Bluey. Like, yeah. And speaking of Bluey, I actually recently just got a Halloween plush of Bluey from TJ Maxx. So when me and my mom were shopping at TJ Maxx recently, and I'm going to show her to you right now. Yeah. I got this cute plush of Bluey holding a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween. Yeah. Very cute. And yeah, and of course, I've been a fan of Bluey since, last year. But I just wanted to point that out, guys. So, yeah, and meeting Bluey at Sunny Brunch is the reason I didn't see The First Omen. But anyway, back to The First Omen. So, my overall opinion on The First Omen is that it's like I said. I think the original Omen is a good movie, and I gotta say, The First Omen I think is a really great, interesting film, and all that serves as a prequel to the original Omen. Yeah, I actually this movie actually really surprised me. I actually really enjoyed this movie. And yeah, there was also another horror film that came out this year, which is kind of similar to The First Omen, called Immaculate. Like, Immaculate's that neon horror movie with Sydney Sweeney, which I like that one. But I gotta say, I think The First Omen, I think I enjoyed a little bit more. Yeah. I gotta say, the performances I think were really good. I think the story I thought was pretty interesting. That it keeps it true and faithful. That serves as like a prequel to how this all started before the events of the original Omen occurred. And yeah, I actually enjoyed pretty much almost everything about this film. Well, not everything, because this movie did have its flaws here and there, but overall, I think The First Omen is great. Yeah, and it's also definitely one of the best horror films that came out this year as well. And is it also one of my favorite horror films that came out this year? Yeah, pretty much, because I know every year I usually think of some good horror films that I checked out to make my top 10 favorite horror films of the year. But yeah, this is one of them, The First Omen, and I'm glad I watched it on Hulu. Yeah. And the runtime's only like approximately 119 minutes. And it's rated R for violent content, grisly, disturbing images, and brief graphic nudity. Yeah. Yeah, because that explains it all. And when I got this Blu-ray here, when I did some research on the Blu-ray release of the First Omen is also not only from 20th Century Studios, because we know that's the company that made this film, 20th Century Fox Studios. But it also says here on the back of the Blu-ray cover, on the back of the Blu-ray, that I think the First Omen is actually the very first Disney home video release, because Disney owns Fox now. The First Omen was actually the very first Blu-ray release to be handled by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. Yeah, it actually says it here on the back here. Yeah. Yeah, if you can see it closely, but yeah. Yeah, that's the best I could try, but yeah, the First Omen is actually the very first Blu-ray release to be handled by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. And yeah, because I think Sony Pictures Home Entertainment is actually taking over the home video physical media rights to Disney films, including the owned ones like 20th Century Studios or 20th Century Fox Studios, whatever. But that aside, the First Omen is really great. It has an interesting concept for a prequel film based on the Omen films, and I gotta say, this is probably like the best Omen film made since like the original Omen, because it's like I said, hardly anyone remembers the sequels that came out back in the day, as well as the 2006 remake, which I never really bothered with because I heard that sucked. Oh yeah, and Bloody Disgusting even says a haunting prequel worthy of the horror classic, says Megan from Bloody Disgusting. Just reading the back here of the actual Blu-ray case. Yep, it's got some good directing, some good writers, decent writers who, like, you know, they're just doing their job. Oh yeah, plus I also did recognize one of the actors who was in the First Omen, Bill Nighy. Yeah, Bill Nighy was actually in a lot of stuff. I don't mean like, you know, Bill Nighy the Science Guy. I'm talking about the English actor Bill Nighy, because Bill Nighy, I thought was pretty good in the film. He was fine and all. He was good and all. Oh yeah, and the most recent film I actually heard his voice in was he was actually in the new DreamWorks animated film The Wild Robot. Yeah, I liked Bill Nighy in that. Bill Nighy was in a lot of stuff, like I said, but he was good in this film, and all the other actresses, they all did a fine job. So overall, The First Omen is a great horror film that came out this year in 2024, back in April. And I'm going to give The First Omen 4 stars out of 5. I also like how on Letterboxd, both the movie posters for The First Omen and Monkey Man are actually in both colors, red and black. Yeah. And that's why I felt like watching them together when they came to Peacock and Hulu. Which, you know, the colors, like the mixture of colors of red and black, which for some reason kind of reminds me of the Virtual Boy a little bit, yeah. Because I saw Angry Video Game Nerd's review on the Virtual Boy, but that completely has nothing to do with this review, so my apologies, my mistake. I'm just here to share my thoughts on The First Omen for Halloween this year, and yeah. So yeah, if you like the original Omen, if you haven't seen The First Omen yet, then I say this is a good one to check out for Halloween this year. I recommend it. And there you have it, guys. That's my review on The First Omen. And that's going to be it for this video, so make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye everybody, and that's about it.